Hello everybody, my name is CodeBlue and welcome back to another CodeBlue tutorial. Now in this video we're going to be taking a look at meta functions, which is not exactly entertaining to learn, but they will be important in our next video. Now I know I said I was going to start the game mode videos on this one, but I want to get meta functions out there first before we start the game mode, because it will help a lot of you. So if I go ahead and jump over to the GMOD wiki, and we go into the classes section here, you can see how there's all of these classes. Now, if you remember when I first started teaching you LUA, I stated that there's lots of different types of data, basically, such as strings, floats, ints, things like that. Well, classes kind of come under those too. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up meta functions to run on these classes. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll get rid of this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm in my test underscore client. We'll go in test underscore server, actually. Here you go. So in this file, this is going to be what we're going to run on the server. And at the top, we're going to make a local variable, and we're going to call it meta. Oh, one more thing. I do apologize. My mixer still isn't fixed. Believe it or not, I fixed it and left it a day, was going to record a video, and it broke again. So I'm using a temporary mic that hopefully is better than the ones I've been using in my other videos. I do apologize, though. But anyway, we're going to call this meta. It can be called whatever you want. It's just a variable. And we're going to set it equal to find meta table, okay? And then whatever we put in the string, that's the meta table that we're finding. So in this case, we're going to use player. So we're going to type in player. So you see how player is here like this, P-L-A-Y-E-R, capital P, don't forget that. So now we have a reference to the meta table inside our variable called meta. So when we create a function, what we're going to do is we're going to do meta, then we're going to do colon. A lot of people do dot. It's not dot, it's a colon. So we're going to do colon, and we'll just do something, okay? That's what we'll call our function. Now, in our function, if you look, it's got meta colon in front of it. That means that it's part of this meta table, and this meta table is the meta table for the player. So this function gets called on players. Okay, so it may make sense to name this PLY meta. That way you can see that it's the player meta, but you don't have to name it that. But now this function can be called on all data types which are of type player. And what we can do in here is I'll go ahead and I'll print I ran, okay? Now what I'll do is I'll do 4k v in pairs player.getAll. Okay, I'm going to loop through all of the players. It's generally going to be just me because I'm on single player. But what I'll do is I'll do v colon something. Now, if you remember, v is going to be the reference to a player because we're doing player.getAll and we're looping through it. If you don't understand loops, go back and check out my previous videos. And what we're calling is we're calling the function just like a colon. You'll notice this a lot. If you want to kill a player, you do v colon kill, v colon set position. You know, these kind of stuff, these are the meta functions, and you can create your own such as this. So we can call something on it like this, and all that's going to do is just print out I run. It's not doing anything special right now, but what we'll do is Lua open script, not CL, just server side now, and we'll open up test underscore server, and you'll see how there it printed out I ran, because it run once on the player, okay? So, okay, you're probably wondering how in any way is this useful? Well, whenever we have a meta function, and I want to let you know the meta functions go much more in depth than what I'm teaching you right now. I'm only teaching you the basics so that we can advance onto our game mode series and we can learn more there. But what we can do is whenever we have a meta function, we can refer to self inside the function, and you may recognize this with an entity. And self refers to the data that it was called on. So this is a player meta table, so it can only be called on a player. So when we call it on this v, this reference to the player, self is going to be equal to the player that we called it on. So we could do print self colon Nick. Whoops, Nick. Okay. Because self is going to be player data because that's what it was called on. So now if we go ahead and we run it now, as you can see, it prints out my username, even though we never directly passed it my player. So that's pretty much it for meta functions, but they are incredibly useful. I can't really think of a good example now, but let's go ahead and take a look at the DarkRP game mode. I'm not going to open the code, but whenever you see things like this on DarkRP, like add money, and then you can add a certain amount of money to that specific player, that is a meta function, something that is set up in an extremely similar way to this. You could do add money, and then we could say self.money plus 100. Okay, that's not going to work, but that's just an example of where a meta function could come in useful. So yeah, I hope that helped. I know to a lot of you that probably may have even not made sense or may seem completely irrelevant, but in our next videos, we will be going over the game mode and they will all come to sense because our entire game mode is going to run mainly on meta functions to handle rounds, players, everything like that. So I hope that helped you in some way, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.